Hello, everyone. Welcome. And can you hear me well? Great. Oh, well, it's lovely to see some familiar faces, and some new faces are coming to join us as well. So they'll just be trickling in. But yeah, it feels like everyone's currying in, and that's really lovely because that's the spirit of this evening, of sharing together from the heart about Mama Cacao and how she has been, such a great teacher and healer in my life that I will share a little bit about this evening. But I would really like for you to have a direct connection to her with meditation. So we'll share a short meditation to connect to her spirit. And I'd really like to share with you about Cacao as the heart awakener, and how this really ancient medicine is so relevant for this time that we're in just now. And so, I'll also be sharing some time with you as well for questions, because it's actually, as much as I'll be sharing, I'd really like to hear from you, because we're all coming from different walks of life and different perspectives. And some people have been, that are here, have already been on a journey with Cacao and are continuing that journey with Cacao. And I really thank you for being part of that as well, being lighthouses along the way. And for those that are maybe have met Cacao in her different forms, whether it's been in ceremonial context or whether they've just been drawn to Cacao and just known that it's something that their body really, really wants, is because it's so nourishing, of course, of all the chemicals and nutrients that it contains, but also for all the chemicals that it contains that really help to lift our mood, lift our spirit, and rebalance things as well. So I'll speak to that a little bit more later on. But I always really like to begin with meditation, so that we're all coming in together into a resonance of tuning in with her and inviting her into the space, inviting her into our hearts, and allowing you to have that space so to connect. I was just chatting earlier on and just saying that it's something that I feel is really fundamental, that we're seeking as in humanity, is connection. And I really feel that Mama Cacao was one of those pathways to reclaiming that connection. It's already there. It's always there. Sometimes we forget and get caught up. So my dog has just arrived next to me, so I'm just going to close this door. 1 second. My temple dog realized that he was late for duty. He's always beside me when I'm meditating or I'm sharing in sacred space. So just bring yourself in, just wherever you're sitting, just welcoming, inviting yourself just to feel into the body, the sit bones on the earth. And wherever you've been, however your day has been, just take this time to let that go. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth with a sigh. Just allowing any stress or any tension to fall away. Just allowing your body and nervous system to recalibrate as you rest gently within yourself. Taking a few breaths into the heart space. I'm not trying to do anything, not trying to feel anything. Just simply breathing with the heart. And feel how the heart responds. And if it's helpful for you, you can also place your hands on your heart. Just bring that awareness into the heart. Connecting from the heart down the spine into the womb or the hara, in through the root, down the legs, through the feet, into the soil. And perhaps even feeling the connection of the fascial network or the nervous system, or just simply your feet in the soil. Connecting to the mycelium network, connecting to the roots, the plants and the trees. And the roots tapping in to the soil, through into the center of the earth. And from the center of the earth, making the connection with the heart of the earth, the heart blood of the earth. That is Mama Cacao. And your body and your heart and your being connects to the earth, invites her to connect with you. And anytime you feel you need to just let out a sigh, allow relaxation, allow softness, allow beauty, allow bliss, allow abundance, allow fertility, allow creativity, allow love. And the seeds, these seeds, like the cacao beans, they're in the earth, waiting to sprout. Can be within you also. To allow yourself to feel her essence in your body, in your heart, in your being. Gracias, gracias, gracias. Ish Cacao. Mama Cacao. Food of the gods. Connects heaven on earth. And the wellspring of bliss and joy that we always have access to. Helping us to re-heart and to stoke the fire of the hearth. And live and breathe and be from the heart. And when you're here and now in this moment, How can you tend to yourself with love? How can you open to allow life to flow through you and allow all that is not love to simply dissolve into the earth, becoming compost, so that the new seeds can grow and sprout and reach to the sky, to the sun. Connecting to your spirit and the spirit of Mama Cacao. And I'll share a song of Mama Cacao. Gratitude for all that she shares with us. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Cura, cura la cuerpecito, cura, cura la di di di. Limpia, limpia la spiritito, limpia, limpia la di di di. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Cura, cura la cuerpecito, cura, cura la di di di. Limpia, limpia la spiritito, limpia, limpia la di di di. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Cura, cura la cuerpecito, cura, cura la di di di. Limpia, limpia la spiritito, limpia, limpia la di di di. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Caucasita la medicina, caucasita la di di di. Gracias, gracias, gracias. Amor, amor, amor. Just in your own natural time. Just bringing yourself back to the awareness of the body, where you're sitting and gathering in this circle. And so I wanted to share with you very briefly how I came to know Mama Cacao, and how she's helped me to transition through many transitions. But whenever I first met her was in a ceremony with Anu Tara, and I remember it very clearly as it was November and it was winter time and there was things letting go. I was just about to let go of my career, but I didn't know that fully at the time. I knew it was coming to an end, but I didn't know it was coming to an end within the space of 2 or 3 weeks after that cacao ceremony. It was quite poignant. And I was then drawn to really go into what's called a dieta with her in January in the following year, after I had basically stopped from a corporate job and decided to take some time out before coming into being of service full time, because I had been in service part time, if you will, and I still look back to this day and do not know how I managed during that time. And I'll tell you what, I've learned to slow down since then. And Mama Cacao has been a big, big, big helper for me in really coming into that slowing down to the natural rhythm and the natural pace of life, rather than what I think should be happening. So when I went into that dieta, which is when you go into isolation for a period of time, with very little or no communication and a very simple diet, and I went there for my own healing, quickly realised that Mama Cacao had that in mind and more, because I had been doing some shamanic training and working with plants for some time. I think she just decided that, oh, I've got a live one. And so she really took me deep into joy, deep into that which was ready for integration and for healing at that time, in order to ready me for sharing Mama Cacao with others. And like I said, that was not my intention of meeting with her at all, but it came a natural opening from that love and that connection with her and that deep listening of her. And she taught me along the way of how to work with her. I'd already been working with ritual and ceremony for a long time before that, so it naturally weaved in that way. And I went to Guatemala a few years after that, wanting to connect with the ancient ways and wanting to connect with the land in which she came from. And that I did, but it was very difficult to find a direct connection with the ancient ways, as a lot of it has been lost, particularly in Guatemala. There was a lot of colonization, and as an Irish woman, there's a lot of resonance with that, because that's very much what's happened in Ireland and indeed in Scotland. And because I was coming from that Celtic background, I had a very strong affinity with that feeling of that colonialization, as well as the magic that was in that land and the magic of the plants and the trees, because in Celtic and in Mayan cosmology, the trees are seen as as deities. And so Mama Cacao was revered as a deity and revered as a bridge to the gods, as the food of the gods, and brought many, many different qualities with her, which I shared a little bit in the meditation around the love, the abundance, the connection to spirit, the fertility, beingness, being here and now. So I feel like she's a real opener for the mind, of the clarity of the focus, and the heart and the opening and the strengthening and the compassion, and the body and the belly, the hara, the womb, the feeling, the creativity, the power of creation as well. So many of the statues and paintings and artwork are very strong birth, death and fertility symbols related to cacao, both in Guatemala as well as for the Incans in Peru as well, which I had visited, and the Aztecs in Mexico. And it's no surprise that she's there in the centre. It's the centre channel of the earth. And so I was able to connect with a young shaman there, and he shared fire ceremonies there and shared with me about Mama Cacao. And we had a very, very deep meeting in that, as the jaguar medicine is very strongly related with Mama Cacao and Ish. Ish is mother. Ish comes before all. Ish created all. So the mother created everything in that cosmology. And that's the medicine that I carry also, is Ish, is in my Mayan astrology as well. So we really, really connected with that. And that then helped me to realise why I had such a strong affinity to this medicine that was not of the land in which I was from. As well as, of course, there would definitely be past life connections in that. But what I really found striking with that also was in the modern way of seeing different ceremonies and how they were held, and what was really great and what was really nourishing and what was really honouring of Mama Cacao. And when we went into that colonised pattern of taking as a substance, as a spiritual drug, if you will. And so I really came back from that feeling a lot of richness of the transmissions from the land, from Mama Cacao and from that shaman. But also realising that I didn't actually need to go all the way to Guatemala for that, although there was a lot of richness in that, which I'm deeply, deeply grateful for. But she had already been teaching me directly. And that's what I want to share with you this evening, is that you don't necessarily need to go all the way to where she comes from, because she's here and now. You can connect with a plant spirit, a plant deity, from the heart. Don't necessarily need to ingest. I've held many cacao ceremonies where not everybody ingests, because maybe they're on medication, because it's contraindicated with antidepressants and antipsychotics, and for just a few health conditions. And so her magic can really come through because she's a heart medicine of really that direct connection, and that's the clearest way of connecting with any plant, any human, any animal, any being, is heart to heart, and just dropping in and just listening, and ultimately with ourselves as well. So she was teaching me all along, and she still is, very much so. And the more that I share, the more that she teaches me. And so it's an ever-flowing cup, jug of cacao, if you will. And so I share that because I feel like she is very, very adaptable to the modern world. The fact that she has come out of the jungle and is being shared so widely shows that, and she's loved so widely, shows that there's a real power, there's a real essence, there's that love and that connection with her. And whether it's in a ceremonial, a ritual context, whether it's in part of a weaving with sound baths, with yoga, even with therapy as well, it can be really amazing for therapeutic practices to really bring people into their heart. And it can be very good for working with couples as well, in relating also. So she is really a multifaceted being, I feel, of how she can weave in to different modalities. And I feel the difference, the real key that I've been taught by her has been in the honouring of her and honouring the earth, honouring of the heart, honouring of the body. And that first, ish first. And then all else comes from there. Everything that we need is here, is already with us in every single moment. And Mama Earth, Mama Cacao is providing in every single moment. It's only the mind that sometimes goes into that lack and that fear consciousness. When we drop back into the heart, into our truth, into our self, we remember, we re-heart. And as I said, at that time, when I was transitioning, I had been at a time of a lot of stress, a lot of overwhelm, and really needed time out and healing. I had a lot of anxiety at that time as well. And it was due to the life that I was living. I was living faster than my being could keep up with. And that is what has been happening for humanity for quite some time. And so that's why I feel she helps us to remember and reconnect to slowing down, to taking care of our body. And by taking care of ourselves, we are much more available to take care of others. And when we forget, we just go back to the basics again and remember again, and it's all okay. But what I'm noticing is that overwhelm and that stress and that anxiety and a lot of mental health issues have been there for a very long time. And they're now really showing themselves in this time of enforced hibernation, shall we say, where there is less distraction and we need to honour what is really in our field, in ourselves, in our environment. And so when I was going through that transition, she was a real support for me and for coming into the heart. And that's what I'm saying is this heart awakener. I really feel like she could be a real help for a lot of folk at the moment that are really struggling. A lot of people very naturally go for a chocolate bar when they're feeling they're wanting that comfort. Now the difference with a chocolate bar is that it's got a lot of sugar and milk in it. and very, very little of the actual medicine of Mama Cacao. Now, I don't have time this evening to go through all the different, I can get very geeky about the different ways that it's cultivated and so on, but in short, what you can get in a chocolate bar, what you can get in a health store, is nowhere near the vibration and the resonance of the ceremonial cacao, which is the pure medicine. And so that is what is a key difference, is the vibration and how the medicine has been cultivated, and how ideally it should come from small growers, family growers that really revere the cacao. They often pray every day and give offerings every day to the trees. And it's really cultivating that essence from that seed as it grows into the tree, and then you have these beautiful, beautiful pods that then contain the beans and contain the flesh, and you can actually eat the flesh around the beans as well, which is that slightly sweet creaminess as well to it, which is lovely, and the colour of the pods and everything as well. They're just a delight. Cacao is just a delight. And so as the heart awakener, I feel this is a real key. I hear a lot, and I have great respect for the work with medicines that are multidimensional, plant medicines that are multidimensional, other modalities that take us into altered states of consciousness. There is an absolute place for everything, and there's a time and place for everything, and each individual has their own soul journey. So I always say allow the plant to come to you, and when you hear that call, then you know when it's calling you. And Mama Cacao is the same as well. But with Mama Cacao, rather than taking us into an altered state or psychoactive state, it is not psychoactive in any way. It is more grounding and heart opening, and I feel that's where we need more of at this time, is really coming into the heart. And even those that have been on the path for a long time, we all need support from time to time, and she can be a really wonderful support for practitioners, for therapists as well, or for anyone that really takes care of others, because she brings us right back all the time to taking care of ourselves, to nourishing ourselves, and having that support, and especially having that support in a time of isolation where we really need connection. She helps us to remember that connection within. And again, both from Celtic and Mayan cosmology, we see the plants were here before us. So we see the plants as our ancestors. So it is like going to an elder. And we don't have many elders in our society anymore. So that's partly why I feel a lot of people are seeking plant medicines for this guidance. And I feel that Mama Cacao does that in a much more gentle way that is more easy to integrate into the day-to-day life, and bringing that heart, that devotional awakening consciousness from within, and helping us to integrate the shadow in a very gentle way, and feeling into the body in a more sensual way as well, can really help us to soften the hard edges, to soften and to reconnect what has maybe been fragmented in our psyche, in our soul, where we feel lost in confusion and overwhelm, mental health as well. Aspects with depression and anxiety can be really, really helpful. for that as well, and for integrating trauma as well, whether that's trauma in this lifetime, whether it's ancestral, past life. She can be very, very helpful, gentle guide in that. So she always is there with the door open, and it's our choice to walk through that door should we feel ready. And so I'd like to just spend some time really sharing with you and hearing if there's any questions as well about Mama Cacao. And just before that as well, I just wanted to mention that the journey with Mama Cacao that I'm offering again with the Cacao Practitioner course that's coming in March. My intention for sharing that at this time, as with the Cacao Level 1 that we've just closed that container, but it's still available as an ongoing journey in your own time, is that I feel at this time it's really amazing to use this quieter time to go in, just like I said I had done 5-6 years ago, something like that, where I really just took that time when it was a bit slower and quieter after a very, very busy period of my life, of transitioning into a new time, and especially transitioning from the winter time into spring as well. It's a lovely way of connecting with nature, of working with a cup of cacao and taking for a walk in nature and being more aware of the sights, of the sounds, of the smells, of the tastes of the air, of the feeling of the feet in the earth, and the feeling of when you touch a tree or a plant or the water in the river. That, as I said, she's a very sensual medicine, so really opens us up more into the senses and the beauty that is within us and around us. So that's my intention for sharing that, is really to hold a container for others to develop that relationship with her themselves, and for their own healing first and foremost, and integration, as well as them, if they so wish, to share with others, that they can go on to do so. And it's in a very yin style that I share, which you're probably getting a sense of anyway. It's not about learning and doing, it's about the undoing and into being, so that it weaves naturally into life rather than being another thing to add to the to-do list. It's something that just comes in naturally. So some people have started and then realised they need to take longer with it, and that is absolutely fine, and it's all welcome. And some people go in and they're raring to go and they're there 100% for the 10 weeks, and that's beautiful too. So if there's any particular questions about the course, I can talk a bit about it later on as well, or about Mama Cacao, or sharing what has come for you through the meditation or through this sharing this evening. I'd really love to hear from you. And you can just, probably the best thing to do is, if you see at the bottom of the page, there is a little button called reactions, and you can raise your hand that way, and then I'll know that you have a question or something to share. So you can pop your hand up at any time if something else pops in. Yeah, I really enjoy that sense of just beingness and that quietness together. And with the exploration with Mama Cacao is really about, number one, connecting with the earth, connecting with the body, and connecting with her. And then starting to explore different aspects that she can open up within us. One of the great pleasures and delights and joys that I have found with sharing with Mama Cacao and with others has been to see the relationship blossom and them finding their own way of holding ritual, of ceremony, their own practice. That, yes, there's certain things to take care of, but there's not one way that's the right way. It's not about getting something right. It's just about really coming into that connection within. And if it's really coming from the heart, it can never be wrong. So we go through a journey from the root and to opening up the heart space and working with Rose as well. So Mama Cacao and Rose, as many of you will know, have just passed Valentine's Day, are like that together. And it's like the Holy Union. Really, really beautiful alchemy with Rose and Cacao. So that really brings us even deeper into the heart awakening aspect of Cacao. And then also working with mugwort, which is also, well, Rose is native to most lands, and mugwort is native to North America, native to Europe, and native to the Celtic lands. And mugwort is amazing for dreaming, as is Mama Cacao. So that can really bring us to opening up clear visioning, clear seeing, clear channel, as well as clearing any shadow, any unconscious that is in our way. So a lot of people speak of this channeling, and there's very few clear channels actually. Unless they really are consistently working through this clearing process and working through their own unconscious and integrating their own shadow aspects in order to be empty and open and ready for what is to come through. Whether it's, you know, from source, that's what I call it, and you put your own name to that. And so as Mama Cacao opens up with the third eye and opens up the heart, it opens up that aspect of channeling, but it's also opening up the aspect of the lower centers. So in a lot of traditions, it's very much heart up. And Mama Cacao is often used in that way as well. But that's actually quite a limited, it's a very limited realm, shall we say. It's not integrating why we're here on Earth. So some of you will have heard me say this. There's an Irish saying that I share quite a lot. It's like when they would speak to someone and saying that they're so heavenly minded that they're no earthly use. And that is that they're just in the clouds, like a kite in the wind. But there's no substance, there's no realness, there's no practicality, there's no what does it mean in the here and now? How can we bring that into life, into the soil, into the earth that we're here to live on? So she really helps us to come in and open up into the lower centers in a very gentle way. And I really feel that is part of our journey here at the moment. That we have been so in the head that we need to really come down into the heart and into the body and really relish and enjoy what it is to be in this precious human life. And then also work with lion's mane because Mama Cacao is traditionally used with certain fungi in Mayan and Aztec traditions. So another fungi that is not psychoactive that we work with is lion's mane. And lion's mane is amazing for meditation, so we work a lot with meditation with cacao. And lion's mane really helps to come into that focus and is native to Asia mostly, but also in Europe, and is said to be worked with monks and Buddhist monks of a particular tradition to help with that focus in meditation. So that's clearing the mind and again opening up the visioning in a very gentle way and clearing the perception of seeing things as they are rather than how we think they are, which is a key difference. And it's something I'm learning a lot at the moment in my own journey, as well as observing others, as well as observing what's going on in the Maya, shall we say, of what's happening in the collective at the moment. There's a lot of this and that, opinion, thought, and that's all it is. It doesn't actually have any power. It's not actually real. What is real is what's in here and the now. What is real is in pure awareness, which resides in the heart. And so it helps to really drop again those layers, and that's what helps with the rewiring as well of the nervous system and of neural pathways as well, where we might have old patterns and thinking and conditioning, and she can help us, as with the lion's mane as well, of really coming into rewiring and allowing that to work through in a more gentle way. And this wiring, my goodness, it can come from our ancestors, it can come from the conditioning that we have from our first 6 years of life, and we spend the rest of our life unraveling that conditioning. So it's nothing to be in polarity about. It is just part of our journey here in the human realm. And so I feel that the way that she helps us is to come into more compassion for that, and for that in ourselves first and foremost, and then others. And when we see those behavioural patterns play out, of just seeing them as behavioural patterns, they're not us. So taking away the identification with the mind. And then we move into coming into what it is, what is facilitation, what is space holding, whether it's for ourselves or whether it's for others. Holding a container, essentially. And so we go through a lot, and that's just a really, like a very, very broad overview of some of the different areas that we go into. We work a lot with sound, with meditation, with movement, with ritual, with ceremony, and sharing lots of different ways so that you can then find your own way. what is quite traditional, shall we say, in many traditions with plant medicine, is that there is this natural way of natural law of having a guide that has already developed that relationship with that plant to guide an individual in their own journey with that plant, whether it's for their own healing journey, or whether they're going into, say, an apprenticeship, or whether they're going into, I would say, a contract really with that medicine for however long that is. That there is a human guide there to help, at the very least at the beginning of that journey. Otherwise it would be a bit like, just splashing in these oceans of mystery and not having any sail whatsoever to help guide the way. That's essentially what that is. And I have found, certainly in my life with plant medicines, that has been a real privilege and honour to receive teachings from elders in relation to plant medicines, in relation to the mystery, and for my own healing, so that I could really come into more and more every day living in authenticity and living in being. So yeah, we're just about out of time. And of course, if nothing came up for you this evening, please feel free to drop me some questions by email. And I hope that you will have received some gentleness and some connection to Mama Cacao this evening. Some time just to fill your cup and to hear how, as I say, I really do feel like she's a great support at this time. And if you feel called as well to join in the Cacao practitioner training, it starts on the 12th of March and it's 10 weeks, and we have videos and written documents and audios and meditation, as well as ceremonies. So we share about 5 ceremonies over the course of the 10 weeks, and it doesn't matter where you are in the course material, but it does help to follow, especially when we're working with the plants. We work with 3 plants, as I said: mugwort, lion's mane and rose, over 2-week periods, where we do like a gentle dieta over that time to really get to know those plants. So rather than just adding another ingredient, we actually get to build a relationship with these other plants as well. But Mama Cacao first, always. Ish first. Yeah, so, and if you feel like it's something that you feel is more for somebody else, and please do share that with others as well. I don't spend much time on social media and so on, and I feel like most people come to me through word of mouth and through this Mama Cacao just tapping them on the shoulder and whispering into their heart that's the time. And it's also it's about the right timing as well, so you'll know if it calls you, or someone that would feel connected to that, then please do share. I'll share this link of this webinar with you, and you can share that with them, or you can just share the link about the link to the website as well. And I've got an early bird that finishes tonight, But for those that have joined this evening, I'd like to offer that until Friday. So I'll send out another little code just for those that have come in on this round or are coming in for this call, that they can join the next round still with the early bird until Friday. So you've got time to sleep on it. It's always great to sleep on things. And for those that have previously joined, it's really lovely to see your faces here, and I really thank you for turning up. And of course, as I've mentioned to you, that you can join this round as well and rekindle that fire again. And I do find with courses that I've attended before as well, that aren't even plant medicine related, when I've gone into going through the resources again, it's been wonderful because you get different layers again, and pick up things that you didn't pick up before in the first time. And especially, as I said, with Mama Cacao, it's always a deepening journey. So there's always more richness to uncover. So you're very, very welcome in that as well. So I will send you all my heart. Thank you for joining. It's really, really lovely, as I said, to see some new faces and see some familiar faces as well. And just wish you sweet, sweet dreams this evening. And cheerio for now.
Thank you, Fatri. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And as I say in the Mayan ways, in Lakesh, Alakin, I am the other you.
Fatri, can you put me on your list, please?